I'm pleased to introduce our first keynote speaker, Katerina Moutogianni from DG Connect.
Thank you very much for this invitation and for the opportunity to present the European digital policy context for the data space for cultural heritage and more broadly for the digital transformation of Europe's cultural sector. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm also very happy to be in this opening conference of the project and have the opportunity to get to know a little bit more about this new project. So I work as a policy officer in DG Connect, which is the Director General for Communications, Networks, Content and Technology in the European Commission. And I work specifically in the unit Interactive Technologies, Digital for Culture and Education. As its name says, our aim is to bring Europe's cultural heritage and education into the digital age, and also to support the wider adoption of interactive technologies, including transformative digital experiences with extended reality. Before starting my presentation, I would like also to mention that the Commission has been active for over 15 years now, carrying out policy coordination and funding actions to support digitization, online access, digital preservation, and the digital transformation in cultural heritage overall. The work to support the digital transformation of Europe's cultural heritage falls under the broader framework of the digital decade. The digital decade is the Commission's vision for the digital transformation of the European Union by 2030 to empower people and businesses. The digital decade sets ambitious targets along 4 compass points to be achieved by 2030. And these are digitally skilled population and highly skilled digital professionals, secure and sustainable digital infrastructures, digital transformation of businesses, and digitization of public services. So contributing with our initiatives to the digital decade vision and targets is one of our aims in the Commission. The other relevant overarching policy is the European data strategy and the vision to create a single market for data, enabling the flow of data within the EU and across sectors, ensuring that high quality data is available for reuse, for people and businesses to create and innovate, and the rules for access and use are clear and in line with EU values. Currently, there are 14 common interoperable data spaces that are being developed in strategic areas for the economy and the society, and cultural heritage is one of them. I would also like to say that our unit is also in charge of 3 more data spaces, the data space for tourism, data space for media, and data space for skills. So the Commission recommendation on a common European data space for cultural heritage is our key policy framework for the digital transformation in the cultural heritage sector. It was adopted in November 2021, and it built on previous recommendations already since 2006, so in 2006 and 2011, on digitization, online accessibility, and digital preservation. The recommendation is addressed to member states, and it has 3 main objectives: to help member states accelerate digitization and preservation efforts, to help cultural heritage institutions seize the opportunities of digital transformation, and to pave the way for a common European data space for cultural heritage. A few words about the main strands of the recommendation. So, on the one hand, the recommendation encourages member states to set up digital strategies at the relevant national or regional level, and to set targets for digitization and preservation, focusing specifically on cultural heritage at risk, the most physically visited cultural heritage monuments, buildings, and sites, and assets from under-digitized types of cultural heritage. Member states are also encouraged to help their cultural heritage institutions to take up advanced technologies to seize the opportunities of digital transformation, such as 3D, XR, AI, or data technologies. And member states are also encouraged, among others, to assess the digital skills gap that may exist in their member state, and take measures for the upskilling and reskilling of cultural heritage professionals by 2030. As you've heard, there is particular emphasis on 3D digitization for a number of reasons. 3D can help tremendously in preservation and conservation. It can increase access to cultural heritage that is difficult or impossible to reach. It can increase digital engagement, and also, of course, 3D models can be very interesting for use in other sectors, such as tourism, education, creative industries, and in immersive environments and virtual worlds. On the other strand of work, the recommendation encourages member states to support the contribution of high-quality data from their cultural heritage institutions to the common European data space for cultural heritage, and to follow standards and frameworks to achieve interoperability at the European level, and also align with fair principles. It also encourages member states to foster partnerships and collaboration both within their member states and across member states in the EU. At the same time, the Commission monitors progress with the implementation of the recommendation in the member states. It is asking every 2 years member states to submit a progress report. And also there is an expert group, a Commission expert group on a common European data space for cultural heritage with the acronym CEDCHE, if you've come across it, which serves as a forum for exchange of experiences and also helps the Commission monitor progress in the member states. Member states submitted their reports on progress 2 years after the adoption of the recommendation. So already from last November and for a few months later, we received reports from individual member states, which we have put together into a consolidated progress report, which will be published very soon. And the report gives an overview of the situation across member states and also gives some best practice examples that we've highlighted when going through the reports. So we will share with you the reports once it's published, and I'm sure you can come across some interesting information from your own member state and also from the other member state. So as regards the deployment of the data space for cultural heritage, so the actual deployment is funded under the Digital Europe program, as you've heard already. And I understand you'll hear more about the data space for cultural heritage in the next presentation. Very quickly, I will say that it builds on the foundations of the Europeana digital service infrastructure, the member states' collaboration, and the experience of the Europeana initiative since 2008. And that the data space infrastructure enables different ways to share data, tools, and services. And at the moment, it already provides access to almost 60 million high-quality digital assets from 3,800 cultural heritage institutions across Europe. It also fosters audience engagement and reuse in other sectors, training and capacity building programs, and involves a community of around 5,000 network members, both digital and cultural heritage professionals, and also members from the different audiences and reuse sectors of the data space. So I would also encourage those of you that are interested can always join the Europeana Network Association and can have a closer collaboration with the Europeana initiative. So in addition to the core deployment project, which is funded via procurement, there are a number of supporting projects that are funded via grants. to contribute to the data space with specific goals. There was the first set of supporting projects from the work program 2021-2022 of Digital Europe. These projects are now coming to an end, and they mostly contributed with high quality 3D data, created opportunities for reuse, or developed tools which support the work in the cultural heritage sector. The second call was the one that your project RCtoDC was one of the 5 successful proposals to be funded. And it is the one launched in 2024 with, as you heard before, it's with the aims to support further the 3D data in European and to enable additionally XR content, set the foundations for XR content in the data space for cultural heritage. And we come to our last slide. So closing my presentation, I would like to wish the consortium a very successful project. We look forward to seeing the results very soon. And to all of you, a very enjoyable conference today.
So if you could tell us what proved to be the biggest challenge during the implementation of policies for digital cultural heritage?
Well, in general, at EU level, as I said already for over 15 years, the Commission has been very active in trying to support digitization initially, online accessibility, digital preservation, so on. We're moving now to the digital transformation. Generally, I think this is a key line of work at the Commission. I would say that through the reports that we receive, because for all those recommendations, we receive reports and we see that there is, in fact, progress that has been achieved in the member states, and a lot of it was the result of these recommendations, because member states could indeed use the recommendation as let's say, as an inspiration, but also as an argument within the member state to drive forward activities in this area, as well as, of course, funding, because always funding is a challenge. Then we go to the national level, where we understand that that's where the main challenges lie for member states to be able to secure funding in this domain for cultural heritage. As we know, in many member states, perhaps cultural heritage, digital cultural heritage and cultural heritage is not really the first priority or the biggest priority compared to other priorities that are considered as more pressing. And then I think for that, what we have always recommended in terms of securing funding is that member states can make use of regional funds, structural funds, and different. So recently the resilience and recovery facility. So different mechanism where member states can make use of European funding, but at national level. I hope I've answered, but please let me know if there's something else you'd like.
Thank you. You've answered in quite a lot of detail. I do have another question for you. How does the EU address legal challenges associated with digital heritage, including copyright and intellectual property?
Yeah, that's a good question. Indeed, it is a big challenge. And for that, we work with colleagues in DG Connect who look specifically, there's a unit in DG Connect that looks specifically at intellectual property and copyright issues. We are aware of the difficulties of cultural heritage institutions to handle copyright. I mean, I'm not, I would say I'm not specializing in this area, but what we are trying to do is also through the European initiative, which is with its different task forces and working groups, they also try to go deeper into these challenges for cultural heritage institutions and try to help institutions get together, discuss, and also try um, to clarify things or give guidelines to cultural heritage institutions. So I think this is another reason where really connecting at European level and taking part in the European initiative, in the European Network Association, gives more opportunities. There are seminars that are organized, there are events. So as part of the capacity building activities of the Europeana initiative, there are plenty of opportunities to discuss these things and maybe get some more guidance on that.
Thank you very much. And my final question, how can the EU enhance the engagement of citizens with digital heritage?
Yes, that is also a very good question. And in fact, if you've seen the new political guidelines of the new commission, it is one of the main priorities to facilitate access, to facilitate people's access to cultural heritage, especially and access and engagement, and especially the access by younger generations. So this is something now that it will come up quite frequently in our next activities as well. What we do, I mean, our operational arm, let's say, is has been and is still the European Initiative and the Data Space for Cultural Heritage. So through these, we're trying to offer as many opportunities as possible. So there's the website. There are also reuse in schools, in education, so reuse of Europeana content in schools. Other activities bringing Europeana, the content from Europeana website and of course the data space closer to the public. So there were activities such as Built with Bits or a digital storytelling festival. So there are activities organized by the European Initiative aiming to bring the broader audiences closer to the cultural heritage content. And as I said, this will be intensified, especially for younger generations. Of course, what you're doing, I mean, the projects, there's also like the supporting projects that contribute in with their own activities and with their own yes, applications and tools, work. So it's a whole set, I think, of contribution by projects by the European Initiative to that end.
Okay, thank you, Katerina, very much for this insight into the EU policies and the digital heritage, cultural heritage portfolio. It was very interesting to hear all the actions that European Union has taken and the steps it's planning to take in the future for the digital transformation.
Thank you once again, and really all the best for the continuation of the project. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.